Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Sam Darnold may just win a Super Bowl. It's been 10 years since the Carolina Panthers were in Super Bowl 50. So that makes it Super Bowl 60, and it's back in Levi's Stadium, but not without a little dose of irony, a little dose of Panther, I don't know, just irritation maybe. You got the Seattle Seahawks heading to the Super Bowl led by Sam Darnold, taking on the New England Patriots led by Drake Maye, charlatan, a kid that was at Levi's Stadium for Super Bowl 50, and a guy that many people believe that Carolina would have been better suited drafting a year following, a year removed maybe from Bryce Young. Tonight's show delves into the multiverse irony Super Bowl from a Carolina Panthers perspective. There's a little gut punch, CK, as we go back to Levi's Stadium, or we watch a Super Bowl at that with two quarterbacks with deep Carolina connections playing for a championship, and neither of them wearing a Carolina Panthers jersey. Both are in some really interesting environments, a big flip of the script for New England. And we're talking about the ghosts of Super Bowl past when it comes to Sam Darnold. What a comeback career of the century. My name's Tony Dunn. This is the C3 Panthers Podcast. This is my man CK. How you doing, my friend?
Oh man, it's a good time to be able to talk about not Panthers football, but Panthers adjacent football.
Yeah.
Man, it's interesting to see how this played out. Man, you can't help but root for this guy, Sam Darnold. I mean, the dude has gone through the ringer. He has been treated like the lowest of lows. He has come to the Panthers, and Panthers fans wanted to throw him out like garbage. And then he started to turn it on towards the end. We're like, maybe we can bring him back on a cheap deal. And he goes and has a moment with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. After sitting on the bench for 1 year, he goes up to Minnesota to expectation to be another bench rider behind JJ McCarthy, leads them to an incredible season. He has the resurgence, and he gets a long-term contract with Seattle. And here we are, the dude not only in Seattle, he is playing yes, he has a supporting cast that's actually incredible, but there have been times when he has put that team on his back. And he has carried them when he needed to carry them, along with the help of Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? But at the end of the day, this dude, absolutely incredible, this year and last year. And it's hard to not look at that and think, man, how quickly do teams give up on quarterbacks drafted high, and then they turn out to be better than ever anticipated. You talk about, Daniel Jones. You talk about Baker Mayfield. You talk about Sam Darnold. I mean, this is, even if we go back to Geno Smith's resurgence in Seattle, the first go around that Seattle started to get competitive again. I mean, I think this is a lesson that we all can take. And I think we all can maybe exercise a bit of patience when it comes to the quarterback position. It's not always going to be the Mahomes type of ascendance. And who knows? But at this point in time, man, it's interesting to see the Carolina connection, man.
You're listening to the C3 Panthers Podcast. We're live every Tuesday night. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We're taking your calls tonight. We got a lot of stuff to get through in the show. I just put up a poll, and that is, What hurts? What if hurts most? Sam Darnold winning a ring, Seattle, Drake May, winning it not in Carolina, black and blue, and returning to Levi's Stadium, basically seeing a Super Bowl there, being Levi's Stadium almost for any reason. We love to get your calls. We thank you for your time, your attention, your energy. Make sure to smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the conversation. Thanks. Shout out to VR, the Hope Dealer, Blind Panther Vlogs, White Chocolate Espresso, Panther Gal, Loud Pack, Luke, John B. Jenkins. And I saw Greg, the Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy, in the chat as well. Thanks for supporting the show. You can really help us, again, by subscribing, subbing up, but most importantly, hit and share wherever you're at. You're on X, you're on Facebook, and that will help us grow. Look, we're going to get to your calls really early. CK, how long do you need? Do you want to do a segment, or you want to, I can handle it for a second. What you got? Tell me.
Yeah, we can hang out until we get the calls going. You just, we can do a segment, and then I'll pop out for a few minutes.
Roger that. All right. This isn't about what the Panthers lost, guys. It's about what they haven't built, or they never built, or maybe are in the process of building. This really is like, the what if scenarios are kind of bizarre when it comes to this. Is that if we go back really, we've run into a lot of storylines that have converged with the Carolina Panthers and quarterbacks throughout the season, right? We have the Baker Mayfield storyline convergence, right? And how that, right? And, him talking junk about Steve Wilkes. We have the Sam Darnold. We played Sam Darnold, lost to the Seahawks, got stomped by the Seahawks. Saw the Bears go through a great season, had a chance to play them in the playoffs, while Carolina Panthers traded up for the number 1 pick to get Bryce Young, Caleb Williams the following year, right?
Yeah, the following year after the Bryce Young pick. Yeah, it was that next year because made that draft that much more painful. That was the draft we decided to go up and get Xavier Leggett as well. So, we turn into the what if we don't have that situation with him anymore, anything. So it's going to be, there's always here's the thing. And anybody who thought that Sam Darnold was going to get to this level of ascendance, when even that last part of his career here with Panthers, you're out of your mind. Nobody really thought that Sam Darnold was going to be an elite quarterback in the league. There was signs that he could be a starter in the league. And I think many of us, myself included, was perfectly fine with bringing him back and not trading away the farm at, picking number 9 in hope, not number 9 in Bryce Young, but at number 9 when we had the option to pick and going with one of those quality players at that position at that time. But man, I find myself fatigued by the idea of the revisionist history, right? Because we could have kept Sam Darnold, and then it would have been the exact same thing. Think about it. We had Frank Reich the next year, and guess what? Sam Darnold wasn't coming back for a 1-year deal, right? If we had signed him, it wasn't going to be a long-term contract. It was going to be another 1-year prove-it, bridge quarterback type of a situation under Frank Reich. Like, think about that, guys. It wasn't like we went from Matt Rule straight into, Dave Canales to be able to try to give him an opportunity to look good. This very well could have been this could have looked a lot worse than it already, than if we hadn't gone the route that we did, it could have looked just as bad, if not worse.
Okay. Yeah. Look, but CK, we don't have a lot to talk about, so we got to talk about a little bit, and these are Panther-based subjects, and but you are kind of maybe simplifying it a little too much. Sam Darnold could have been a bridge starter right now. Sure. He could have been a bridge starter even if you had drafted Bryce Young. They could have worked out a 1-year deal potentially. Sat Bryce Young for his rookie season, or let him come in, right? Because what'd you go with? You brought in Basically another guy kind of like him, except for just older.
Yeah.
And what's his name? The Red Rifle.
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. So, I mean, is that Darnold was not the worst quarterback Carolina had.
Yeah.
In his time in Carolina. In fact, you almost saw him, mustered a 3-game win streak to start the season with Matt Rule. He played some of his better football until that point of his career in Carolina at times.
Yeah.
I felt like he was better. I felt like he was better and more effective than Baker Mayfield and whoever those other quarterbacks we trotted out in that
year,
that
Cam
time
Newton.
period. Yeah, Cam Newton, PJ Walker.
Yeah.
But I do understand what you're saying is like the idea that people were sitting here going, oh man, we believe in Sam. There were some of us that believed that you could run it back with Sam and not force the trade to number 1.
I preferred that.
Right?
Like when we had the shows leading up to before we knew we were moving up to number 1. Like I preferred the idea of sticking at 9, signing Sam Darnold, and letting the cards go. Like stop, don't reach, right? Let the board come to you. And that was what I really wanted to have happen. Now I'm not going to sit here and say there wasn't a level of excitement the moment we traded up.
No, certainly.
I think we all kind of get the feeling like, oh, they have a real good feeling about who they want. And had it not been in the middle of such a crazy year where they fired and hired and all this stuff, it would have been, it would have felt a little bit more. Maybe we would have had a little bit more of the grace when it comes to Bryce Young over the years. But it is what it is, man. We ended up going the route that we did, and it's hindsight again. It's always going to be one of these things where it's 2020, and we look back now, and this is where I think that we run into the issue of, and not to bring this back to the Bryce Young, but it's naturally going to go that route. The people who want us to move away from Bryce Young for nothing, like literally nothing at this point in time. We get nothing out of that. There's nothing at all we're going to do. And so what we're going to run into is this perpetual cycle of Bryce Young going to play for somebody else that's a quality, location, and all of a sudden he looks good. Like it's not I'm just tired of the process where we let people walk out the door and they turn out to be the best players in the league.
Well, I think the playoff game, Bryce performed well enough. I would say he was great. He was very good in that game. That kind of ended the we can't go. We got to do something now discussion. I think for most people, it kind of kicked the can down the road a little. And maybe we can learn something instead of just looking at this as the what if, revisit it in a negative way. Maybe we can learn something from this in a positive way.
Yeah.
And that is, it's not even the Bryce Young. Is the problem. I think that a lot of people are pointing out in the chat is you let the draft come to you. I think is look right now, you don't have a ton of cap space. You're picking at 19. DJ Moore was part of that trade. You had to give up. You had to give up to get. So not only did you give up so much to get Bryce Young, but then it was like maybe a premature all in with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And maybe if you let the board come to you, you don't feel as compelled. But Sam Darnold could have been, you keep Sam for another year or two. You put him on a 2-year deal. You start him. You don't force the Bryce Young issue, and Bryce Young's development may have been better. And what it feels like is I guess there's a long-winded way of saying this, is that the knee-jerk, premature overreaction is what we want to avoid. And you almost did that a little bit with like saying, oh, we're going to trade the farm, set him up from day one, get him this coaching staff and all of this. And it's all we got to fix it right now, now. And you could have done the same scenario potentially, but also put it in a better timeline for him. And likewise is that if you apply that to our current situation, is that knee jerk, fast fix, quick fix reaction, move on, something new, add a new rookie, whatever it is. You don't want to get back into that cycle as well. So those are some of the issues that you kind of go through when you look at kind of this multiverse situation. But add to this, guys, is CK, can you take the chat down for 1 second just so we can look at this real quick? We'll put it right back up, guys. Add to this is like there is the it's going into Super Bowl 60. There is a Carolina connection in a sense, right? And that is at least, hey, look, it's just storylines converging. That's all it is. Sam Darnold, former Carolina Panther, played from 2021-22. He's going back to where the Carolina Panthers played in Super Bowl 50. Not that he was on that team, but a decade later. He leads the playoffs with highest passer rating. He's seeking his first ring. And I think is this Seattle. They've won this. His first ring versus the Patriots, and really just a reclamation project altogether for his career. Another Carolina connection, though, and it's been fun, but also saddening to some people, particularly in the poll that we put up, is that Drake Maye is from Huntersville, North Carolina. He's basically from Charlotte, lifelong Panthers fan. He attended Super Bowl 50 with his girlfriend, his high school girlfriend, who was his college girlfriend, who is now his wife, which is sweet story. He's vying for MVP and offensive.
He's definitely not going to get it over top of Sam Darnold, but yeah, you're right.
What no, I mean over because Sam Darnold hasn't been Matt Stafford, right? I'd be interested. I wanted the Rams and the Patriots to play each other, and then Drake Maye beat Matt Stafford get the MVP, and then just blow up this whole scenario. First UNC quarterback to lead the team to a Super Bowl. So just some fun connections there, CK. And let me just pull up the poll real quick. See what we got here. I'm gonna end the poll right now. What if hurts most? Sam Darnold winning a ring is leading at 48%. May winning Super Bowl, but not in Carolina, 33%. Super Bowls at Levi's Stadium. I'm surprised. I think Super Bowls at Levi's Stadium hurt. That's what I would have voted for. Sam Darnold, though, got to give him credit, man. First player to win 12-plus games with two different teams in consecutive seasons. 14-3 record. Both of these teams had the same record, 14-3. 4,000 yards passing, 25 TDs. The Seahawks are top 10 in pressure rate, explosive plays. They got an aggressive top 5. They got aggressive. They got a lot of things going on. The Panthers, though, were not very explosive at times, but Darnold, I'm not happy for him. How do you feel about it? I really am rooting for him. Other than he's just so goofy. Have you seen the clip floating around that he likes to listen to birds, and he's got an app that he listens to birds?
No, I didn't see that.
He's like, look at my app. I don't know. It's just like he's a goofball, but I liked him. I liked him when he was in Carolina. And the ghosts of Panthers past, that's a play, CK, on the words, because he was seeing ghosts at one point in his career. It's a famous quote, and now he's dealing. He was reacting in Carolina. He's dictating in Seattle, and he's in a good situation.
He went from being haunted by ghosts to haunting people. Yeah. Like, it's just like the idea of going up against this team. Like, it's no longer, Sam Darnold had been known to give the ball away even throughout this year, leading the league in turnovers. But I tell you what, when you're talking about having a head coach that trusts you, even if it does result in those turnovers coming in a lot, I think that's part of the reason you're seeing this incredible, just ascension that he's on. Is even when he's making, I think what might have happened in the past and other teams, Panthers included, is Sam Darnold made a mistake. We become conservative and stop putting the ball in his hands. When you watch him, dude, he has such an ability to put the ball where he wants it to be. And, it's so wild to see the contrast of what he was as a Panthers quarterback versus what he is now. And I think it does go to show you, and I think a lot of people in the chat are right on this, being a good quarterback is heavily dependent on what you have around you. And Sam Darnold is an absolute Geno Smith, the Sam Darnold, the Baker Mayfields, the Cam Newtons, when he had some of his best years, it was, you might have said he had nobody in the wide receiving room, but to be fair, those guys were showing up. And I'll tell you this much: as we hated the drops from Ted Ginn, the dude was still a baller when you go back and watch his games. So I just think you need to have a good team around a quarterback for them to be able to ascend to be the player that they're capable of being. And right now we're just we're witnessing it. I think Sam Darnold's in such a fantastic spot. We've got to be able to take a bit of a lesson from this and continue to do the same thing with Bryce Young. That's really kind of what we need to do.
Nanook of the North says Sam Darnold didn't have to be Superman. Doesn't have to be Superman with the Seahawks. With the Jets and Panthers, he had to make up for the lack of talent around him. Mm-hmm. And in Seattle, they're getting it done. They have a top 5 pass block win rate, bottom 10 pressure rate faced. He's throwing high percentage throws from clean pockets. They're using a lot of play action and pre-snap motion and things like that. So it's a very – and look, is that Kubiak is getting fielded for head coaching interviews because of this. Really a celebration and testament, though, to a guy salvaging his career, right? I mean, maybe Carolina is a place where careers aren't ruined, but salvaged. I mean, think about this: is Sam Darnold maybe not done it, didn't do it here, but he got a little of the Charlotte on him. He loves some Charlotte. He got a little Charlotte on him, and he goes on and saves his career. Bryce Young, man, he was benched, and he's coming back. And hey, talk about, and that's a very fast-paced saving of your career. A lot of people thought he was going to be out. Yeah. So fun stuff to think. Well, maybe I don't even know fun stuff, but corresponding storylines. We'll talk a little more Drake Maye in a moment. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We're going to go ahead and take some of your calls now and stick around. We've got big, fun discussion while we're talking about the missing or lost pass and some of these potential different ways it could have gone, the what ifs. What we're also going to be doing is celebrating the what was this season. And a lot of that's going to go around our boy, Tetairoa McMillan. T-Mac, they don't like to call him T-Mac. They want to call him Tetairoa, like his mama named him. That's what they said. The numbers 252-228-5098. Let's go ahead and get into those cat calls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in the snow? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, guys? This is Chase from Anderson. You know, for the first time in over 20 years, I think I'm going to skip the Super Bowl this year, man. It's not intriguing at all, man. You got the Patriots with Drake Maye and Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. You got, good defense versus a balanced team, whatever. I don't know. It just something don't settle right with me. It just feels perverse after seeing not even just the Panthers game where the referees had say in the outcome, but there's other games where the officials play a part in the outcome. It doesn't sit well with me anymore. They don't even try to hide them pushing certain teams, certain directions. That, and seems like certain teams that the salary cap don't ever matter to them, but everybody else is some other people trying to play by the rules. And it's just that in the halftime show. I'm done with it. I'm just done with the NFL, at least for this year. I'll give it a shot again next year. In college football, between the NIL and the transfer portal, man, it's just sports are going downhill, like bad. Money is ruining everything, man. I'm done. I don't care anymore.
Thanks for the call. That was Chase from Anderson. You know, I'm surprised. I've boycotted a Super Bowl before, and it was the Patriots Falcons Super Bowl. That would have been the following year. That would have been Super Bowl 51, I believe. And it was the same year. That would have been 2016 year, right? The same year that Donald Trump was running for president, and a lot of people took up the hashtag "Not My President," right? Where he won the presidency, "Not My President." So I went to a sports bar, and I wore a placard, like a home. I mean, it was just on a little piece of a back of a cardboard box that said "Not My Super Bowl." And I would turn my back to the TV whenever they were playing, and I would turn around and watch the commercials. Right, that was my protest. My protest against the NFL. I guess it didn't work because the money is still being made. The Patriots are back in the damn Super Bowl. At least the Falcons aren't in it as well. Going on, as I mentioned, Bad Bunny being the halftime show that's rubbed some people the wrong way. I don't know if it rubs some people. Yeah, I guess it's not the most popular pick when it comes to for some people, at least from Chase. He wasn't. I wonder too, though, is with people that push the limits in their personality, maybe not push the limits, whatever that is have more personalities, or their social media, their life or whatever doesn't match the mainstream, but then they get the mainstream moment. You know, do they temper that a little? Do they put a little, rein it in, where they go all out and show the nipple? Like Justin Timberlake and who was it? Who was it? It was Jennifer Lopez. Is that who it was? J-Lo, I think it was. I can't remember. It's been so long. I want to say Paula Abdul, but then that's like the oldest. I know that's not true. The number is 252-228-5098. Thanks for the call. Let's go to the Hope Dealer. See what you guys got. Janet Jackson, thank you.
PK, Tony Dunn. What up, fellas? It's the Hope Dealer checking in real quick. Hey, I was just hitting y'all up, man. Super Bowl is set. Super Bowl is set. It's hard to believe that this 2025 campaign is almost over. But hey, I got a question for y'all, man. I saw a news report that tight end up in Chicago, I think his name is Cole Kmet or something like that, is predicted to be Carolina's predicted to be a good landing spot for him because of that tight end that they drafted last year. I know he's had some pretty big plays, man, but I'm just wondering, do y'all think that tight end is a need right now? Also, when it comes to this offensive line, man, I'm still stressed out about the Icky situation. As far as what to do with that, should we even look at re-signing him or just let him, sit on this 5th-year option, and then after that, start looking for another offensive tackle or start looking for one in the draft this year. But anyway, man, give me y'all thoughts on that. As far as that tight end coming from Chicago, I believe it's Cole Kmet, and then what we should do with Icky. But this the Hope Dealer. Hey, shout out to Joe Brady, man. Joe Brady getting the job up in Buffalo too, man. That's all right there. But yeah, this the Hope Dealer, man. Love you all. Everybody stay safe, stay warm, keep pounding.
Thanks, the Hope Dealer, man. We appreciate we're so thankful for your support, man. Great caller. We got great callers. This is going to be the doldrums of the season. Cody's on a sabbatical for whatever time it is required. We hope to get him back on the show in the future. But we need you guys. We need to lock arms through this offseason, keep this going, keep this being the longest running Panthers podcast. And we do it with your calls and your support just like that. To the Hope Dealer, he says, this is Cole Kmet. You know, what we're talking about is I listened to Move the Sticks podcast with Daniel Jeremiah. Bucky Brooks is usually on it. Yeah. And they was it 40s free agency and something else was their time, but 40 times they're already at the Senior Bowl looking at that. Yeah. And we are close. I mean, the first part of the offseason later in the show, we'll go through all the dates, highlight all the dates to expect, get our timeline as fans, how we're going to be looking forward to this offseason, when that tampering period is, when free agency start, when the franchise 5th-year options, franchise tags, those things have to be. I've got the calendar later in the show. But we already talking about free agency. And, you know, I saw somebody in the chat earlier put up, CK, that like, look at what Sam Darnold's done with that team in Seattle, man. We got to load this defense up. And we've given this offense some attention. This defense has got to get up there and get better. I think the Panthers are going to have to take a more balanced attack than just going one or the other like they've done 2 in a row. But to his point on Cole Kmet, the Carolina Panthers tight end group has been whelming at best. Jatavian Sanders, really excited about him after his rookie year. I think it kind of just like ever since he did that flip and hit his neck, like we just haven't. Yeah, it's just like not, but you know, we just haven't had the excitement with him. He had a couple critical drops early in the season. You don't want to hold that. I don't think he was bad. Like I don't think he like kept doing that, but he was not. It was unnoticeable in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't impactful. You know, you didn't really notice him on the field. You didn't notice that he wasn't on the field. And I don't know which is worse.
Right. Same kind of Tommy Tremble made a couple of good plays, but it was never like it didn't feel like at any point that the tight end position group was just like part of the game plan and part of the threat.
Right.
And then you want to know, why is that, right? Is that because they want to make sure, I mean, is it because they're run heavy, then they're T-Mac heavy, and and every week they're changing whatever heavy they are? Is it then the conversation that you don't want to have, CK, because it's a continued flogging of a horse, is that, is it because Bryce Young can't see the middle of the field? You know, that one. But the Panthers have just, the tight end group has been whelming or underwhelming ever since Greg Olsen.
Yeah, we have been looking. There's been a void that is 8'8", you know, the size of an 8'8" jersey that we have yet to be able to figure out. Now, you know, White Chocolate may love this idea. I think 100%. I think the best thing we can do is have Xavier Legette move to tight end. I think the dude has the build. He has the athleticism. He needs to learn how to block. Obviously, as a tight end, that's going to be a learning curve for him. But I think that's going to be his best bet at being an impact on this team, with us clearly having 1 and 2 out of T-Mac and Jalen Coker. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if there's a move like that. If he wants his career to be able to, you know, move forward, that's the best avenue in which he's going to be able to do it, in my opinion.
White Chocolate Espresso said that this is a good tight end free agency class. Listen to these names: Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Likely, David Njoku. Yeah, Njoku. Thank you. I know. I was like, why can I not say this name right tonight? I cannot say Chigozum Okinawa. It's
exactly.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm from Winterville, North Carolina. From Tennessee, Charlie Kohler, Baltimore Ravens, Darren Waller, Austin Hooper, Kate Otten, Mercedes Lewis. But if there's anybody on this list the Panthers got to target, it's the 12th ranked free agent at tight end, Chris Manhertz. from New York.
Oh man, is he really on that?
He's on the list. He's free agents, but he's ahead of Noah Fant, Zach Ertz, and Tyler Higbee. Carol, I don't know how they're going to ever address this. And I tell you, I am not a fan of taking a tight end in the top 15. I'm really not a fan of taking a tight end in the first round. I think the last one people convinced me was Brock Bowers. Or you know what?
That wouldn't have been a bad choice.
No, it was. I know that would have been awesome. But no, there was the other one, the Penn State guy, which we have not heard him at all. Who was it? But this is where we need Cody Light. Remember the guy with the long, flowy hair?
Tyler Warren.
Is that who it was?
The last year one?
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to Indianapolis.
How did he do this season?
He had a good year. I mean, it wasn't bad. He was definitely the best tight end out of the class, I would say. Even though Cortland Loveland, was that his name? Colton Loveland? I can't remember but I remember Loveland. He went to the Bears. Yeah, he was the first one off the board, but he
had a good. Well, I won't say came out of nowhere, but it felt like in the back end of the season it was just like Loveland, the Loveland show.
Yeah. I mean, he had an impact on that offense. Don't get me wrong, but it took a while for it to get going, and Cole Kmet, was taking the majority of those snaps as well. So having to split those reps with Cole Kmet certainly hurt his productivity in his rookie year. But I mean, I think Tyler Warren showed that he was the best tight end in the class last year.
All right, we're gonna stick with the Hope Dealer's call because he just teased us on the news. So we'll start with this though. We'll stick with the show, but then we're gonna go to Brady and some other news. The news right now though is we talked about this kind of what if scenario. Right. What if the Panthers would have done this? What if they would? But they didn't do those things. But they did draft Tetairoa McMillan, number 1, or where their first pick was he 9? I
don't think it was that high, was it? It might have been.
Yeah, it was like it was somewhere top. I think so.
I mean that low. I mean, it was in the top 10. Were we
10,
not at 7?
Is a surprise pick. A lot of people thought we were going to go with the linebacker that went from Georgia, that went to the Falcons. But instead of these sad stories, Darnold, Drake May, what we could have done is the Carolina Panthers drafted a rookie wide receiver that not everybody was just thrilled about. But because many people latched onto this clip when he was a first-year kid in college who said, we don't watch a lot of tape. Well, he's coming out of high school. Nobody watches tape. I mean, maybe they do, but like not when you're the best player on the field, I don't think, in high school. But T-Mac is going to get some hardware. He's already received, or should we say, it's kind of a stat of the night made up stat. It's not fictitious, but he led rookies in, I think he was the team leader in receiving touchdowns. He had 1,000 the leading our team in receiving yards, explosive plays. He's only Panther rookie ever to lead the team in all 3. So he got our internal triple crown. We need to find this out, is what were his stats? Did he get the most receiving yards, touchdowns, and catches? Catches is another one. Let's see this if we could. You guys, let's put the chat on that. Chat, tell us, did he get a triple crown among rookies? Did he get the most catches? I don't know if he got the most catches, but he was up there.
Yeah.
Most receptions, did I say? Most touchdowns, most yards. Most yards, though, for sure, I think.
Yeah, he definitely had the most yards among rookies receiving. And I don't really know that there was anybody else really in the conversation. It was such a weird rookie class when it comes to the offense that they had Tyler Shugg in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Right. And that's not any it's no slight to him, because I think he proved that he's going to be able to be a good quarterback in the league. But he played half of the year on a team that was eliminated halfway through the year from playoff contention, essentially. So, the fact that we were dealing with that being a part of the conversation was, I don't know if it leads to, it's not like we had a Justin Jefferson style type of a year when it comes to Tetairoa McMillan. I think the biggest conversation piece around him will continue to be, he could have had a ridiculous rookie campaign without those drops. If he didn't have as many drops as he had, and he had quite a few for us giving Xavier Lee get as much hell as we gave him his rookie season, T-Mac had a lot, and he still had that year that he had. I think it shows that there's a lot of room for improvement. I wish we would have had these numbers be more convincing, like to where it's like, who else would we give it to?
He did have the rookie triple crown across the league, led the league, all first-year wideouts in 3 major statistical categories: reception 70, receiving yards 1,014, receiving touchdowns. He's the only player that a Panther rookie ever to lead the team in all 3 categories in that as well. And let's see. Let's ask this: is how did his season, I'll ask you, stack up against Kelvin Benjamin's rookie season?
Ooh, that is, I don't know. I think that
statistically he outpaced him in yards.
Kelvin Benjamin outpaced him technically.
Really?
Yeah, if you think about it,
I thought he set the record for a Panthers rookie.
He did, but we win 17 games, and Kelvin Benjamin did it in 16.
Okay.
And so, listen, I'm not going to make many friends when I say this. I think Kelvin Benjamin's was more impressive.
He had 9 touchdowns. CK. He had 3 more catches.
Yeah, he had 3 more catches on fewer games. And I'm going to tell you right now, the dude, when he was making those catches, they were like eye-popping catches. Like, it was, if you go back and watch his highlight reel from that year, like, it was the mossing of people. It was like the dude, like, we literally went into the year feeling like this guy is the guy.
Gosh, this is. Talk about the what ifs and the ghosts of Christmas, ghosts of Panther past that we were talking about with Sam Darnold. What a reversal, right? It's because I was upset. I remember, and I should probably clip this offseason and go back and look at my reactions to every single Carolina Panthers draft pick on the draft show. And generally they have been negative, like very, like, I mean, and it was more so when we were earlier in the show and I was trying to make so much on the website and trying to do all this prep on this crap that I hate, which is the draft. And, I would latch on to these players.
Yes.
Would latch on to these players. And I remember just being so in love with Bradley Roby, this nickel corner there. And I liked Allen Robinson a lot that year. I was like, as Allen Robinson. And I thought it was like, oh, with Kelvin Benjamin, I just thought we didn't have to draft him so early. Could have let him fall to or something like that. I'm so upset. But then he goes out and has that crazy rookie season. How many rookies have had impressive rookie seasons and gone on to be nobodies? And there's a lot of them from Bennett, and I can't say this. I love Bennett. I thought he did wrong here. I would still fight for him and fight for his honor. But like, if you went back and looked at that 2015 Panthers draft class, and they regraded. We all go to the Super Bowl. They thought Devin Funchess was this great player. Like, all these players were going to be great. Kelvin Benjamin is one of those players that started red hot.
Yeah.
And then just gone. I think T-Mac is going to have more longevity, right? I think that's the thing, is like, looking back at that was such a bizarre, like, we didn't even expect him to be that good, and he was fantastic. I missed this, guys. Thank you so much, James X3, $4.99 super chat. Sorry, man, I didn't put this up earlier. I missed it. trying to learn how to juggle all these responsibilities in the absence, which I'm going to have to figure out. Absence of Cody Lack. James X3 499 says this. Not sure if this was answered, but Sam's success. Should the Panthers go all in on defense and let them be the bread and butter? I mentioned the comment earlier. I didn't highlight it. Thank you so much for your generosity. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, do us a big solid, and share the show. Drop it in Facebook. Drop it in a group. Put it on Reddit. Wherever you go and hang out. Put it on X. Let people know that we're still here talking about the Carolina Panthers. And that news, right, that big news that we were talking about, we were in the news essentially around the league that the Hope dealer told us to, or was put us on the trail of, leads us to this, though, is that T-Mac did win the Pro Football Writers of America Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I would say he's the odds-on favorite. Because of that, he should win the overall, the AP Rookie of the Year. Do you see this as like, I mean, is it weird to say, CK, that you're like, oh, is like it was, you're talking about the drops. You're talking about like, oh, Kelvin Benjamin had a better rookie season. Like, are you blown? You're not blown away by T-Mac as a rookie?
I am. I think that if he had, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. I don't think that we ever found T-Mac to be. It was just very inconsistent. He would have a good game, and then he would have like 2 or 3 games where he was like barely existing, right? And so that's where my hesitation to say that, you know, that it's like my excitement level for him is super high. It is, don't get me wrong. I think he is like, you know, clearly shows that he's the number 1 wide receiver for the Panthers. And moving forward, I am more than comfortable with him being in that position. I just, you know, for it to be as convincing as possible, I just wish that he had made some of those more impressive catches. Like, you know, when we see the highlight reels of some of the best, you know, wide receivers in the league, it's like that ball hits their hand. Like we saw one with JSN in that NFC Championship where the ball was just in his hand and one-handed, just secured it, was just perfect. And it, you know, T-Mac, those balls seem to have fallen off of his hands more frequently than I was happy with.
You mentioned Joe Brady being hired. Let's rock around the news real quick around the league. Robert Saleh. I like this. This is my favorite. This is my favorite hire so far as a head coach right now. I think Saleh had a tough. I mean, look, I think he was a tough coach. He did pretty okay with the Jets. Not great by any means. Kind of a tough deal when it came to the Aaron Rodgers injury. He reminded me a lot of Todd Bowles in a sense. It's like, I can fix this defense, but I have no idea how to make the Jets score points. Robert Saleh, head coach of the Tennessee Titans, gets Cam Ward. He did such an incredible job with San Francisco's defense amidst so many injuries. I don't know how I feel about this offensive coordinator, Brian Dable. Is he still living off of, what was it, his rookie year? Who did he get cooking?
Is it the Josh Allen?
No, it was New York Giants. He got somebody going.
Daniel Jones.
He got Daniel Jones going for a minute.
Yeah.
But this is the news that brings us to this, is the Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott. The name just about flew out my brain crazily. To hire or promote, internally elevate the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, another Carolina adjacent storyline, maybe not related to the Sam Darnold point at this point, but Joe Brady is now 36. That means he would have been like 30 when he was in Carolina.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Tell me what you've heard about this, because this kind of broke today, right? This news.
Yeah, it did. I'll tell you this. At least the Bills fans in my life, not super thrilled with this news. Their belief, and I think is kind of echoed by you, Tony, when you heard this. It's like, you might as well have just kept Sean McDermott. Yeah, if you're just going to stick with an inside hire, and you're going to get the same results with the guy who was, whose best experience is going to be, kind of picking up off of the head coaching, his previous head coaches, and so that is an interesting.
And you're
decision.
diverting his attention, CK. You're like taking away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what Mr. Offense. You were already with the team. It's not like you went outside and you brought in an offensive guy.
Right.
You had this is the same structure. It's just say, if anything, just say what I don't even know. This doesn't make any sense to me. I want to say any sense is that it just it doesn't. I don't understand how this is a significant, notable, and immediate improvement of the team overall.
Yeah. I think that for me, I look at this and it's not a needle mover, number one. And it really, like, it's not, I think the only thing it's going to be good for is offensive cohesion. And if you were really worried about it as an ownership, managing, general manager, whatever you want to call it, if you're Brandon Beans, if you're really worried about that team, or the issue, if you think the offense had no reason to improve and it was all on the defense as to why they weren't succeeding, then just tell McDermott that he's required to let a defensive coordinator take the reins on the defense, and he can just be the manager of the team, be the leader of the team. And so that is an interesting decision. I don't know the reasoning behind making those types of choices, but it is what it is, man. It's I think we're going to learn a lot, and Cody's going to be able to see whether or not Joe Brady's actually the guy that he's always believed him that he was going to be.
Well, he's done well he's kind of had a second go, right? He's kind of reclaimed his career in Buffalo by moving up, I guess, as quarterbacks coach or something like that. And then he goes to offensive coordinator, and he did well. I mean, you remember that after his first year, they were already talking about him getting head coaching opportunities.
Right. It was very interesting. And it was coming off of a year. Was it the year that we had 3 people with 1,000 yards?
Yeah, it was the Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Curtis Samuel, and DJ Moore.
Yeah, all had over 1,000. And so it was like, clearly this dude is the guy. And it just seemed like, I don't know, it felt to me like offensively we were just struggling in a lot of ways. So it was an interesting, decision to move forward with him, or to even have that be a conversation piece that he might be a head coach.
Right.
And so we're gonna know the answer. That's the upside to this, is we're gonna now find out whether or not there's any thing to take about whether he was going to be a good guy for the job or not.
They had to fire Sean McDermott Erdemix, right? They always choke in the playoffs, and John Allen's prime years are being wasted. I don't know if that's necessarily true, right? I don't know if it's required to fire Sean McDermott, because they've only won like 10 plus games every season he's been there, except for one.
Right.
He's not the one fumbling the ball. Sean McDermott isn't the one that fumbled the ball going into the half. Sean McDermott isn't the one who had the play that, Jaquan McMillan, former ECU Pirate, the controversial, we talked about it. I still go back, CK. I think it was a catch, and I think it should have been ruled a catch. But like, he didn't do that. Like, I don't know. Like, what is the coach? The team isn't choking. The team isn't underprepared. They're like poorly coached. And I don't know. I can understand in theory the idea, well, this guy doesn't get us over the hump.
Right.
But I don't know in theory how the guy that was already in the building is the dude that gets you over the hump. This is interesting news for me, CK. I didn't hear this one until I just pulled it up. Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guess what? They're not going to have a winning record now.
Mm.
You might not like, you hate going 9-8. Well, guess what? 7-9. What? 7-10 isn't going to look good. It's not going to feel great.
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's just I don't know. That's one of the ones that I think people are less excited about, if I'm being honest with you.
I mean, how could you ever be excited about Mike McCarthy? Let's get back into the calls. The number's 252-228-5098. Love to hear your thoughts on this Super Bowl, these hirings and firings, and Joe Brady. Interesting. Let's get back to the calls.
Yo, what's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday, man. Didn't call in last week. Completely forgot, honestly.
Oh, well, welcome back.
But, man,
we remembered you.
Got the Super Bowl matchup. Myers Park's finest, Drake May, and former Panthers fan going up against former Panthers quarterback Sam Darnold, man. This is honestly going to be a fun game. It's cool to see new faces in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's crazy New England's back in the Super Bowl, man. It's just like, but hey, they took care of Sean Payton.
Which
it's funny because I'm from upstate New York, so the Bills would have been my team if I stayed there. Did move down to Charlotte, and that the Bills fans gotta feel sick, man. I mean, in a year without Mahomes, you see the Pats, win the AFC. But anyways, just kind of wanted to, talk about the draft. Free agency coming up. What do you guys think? What do you guys think we need, right? I don't think there's been that many big discussions around it on Twitter and stuff yet, kind of just because we're still in the season. But, right when the season, the Super Bowl's over, those things are going to start catching up. Also want to shout out Joe Brady for getting promoted to head coach. But on the Panthers, man, I think, in my personal opinion, I think there's 4 position groups that they need to continuously upgrade this offseason. I think, obviously, we know edge. We know Dan Morgan's talked about it. It's probably going to be the first thing they attack in free agency. A linebacker, I think, is very important. I think it's very important. Those 2 are staples for me. I think if you can make if your 2 biggest upgrades are at those positions, going from like bad/average to good to great, I think that's going to make a huge difference on the defense. Tight end, there's a lot of good free agent tight ends. I know there's been talks about like drafting that Oregon kid first round. I wouldn't do it personally. We've already drafted 2 in the past. And with this regime, I would take a swing on a cheaper tight end like an Isaiah Likely, who's from the Carolinas, went to Coastal Carolina. A guy like Cade Otton's out there who played in Canales' system already. So hopefully that sets you up enough to go BPA in the draft. But what are your thoughts? Those are my 4 main position groups I think we should target. Anthony from Charlotte, give me your thoughts. Keep motherfucking pounding.
The Panthers are in a critical situation. I was thinking about this, and as I was prepping for the show, and thinking about how Seattle did it, or how Denver's done it, or how last week we said Denver and Seattle, right, I think were closest to us. I think those were the 2 teams that we identified as closest to us in how we could build and mimic. Right. The thing that came to mind, I heard this, is that the number 1 spender in free agency last season was the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
They went from 3-14 to 14-3. So you nail free agency, you can get better quick. But they also they did well on the draft. You have to do, to make big leaps, CK, you got to make moves in free agency that work. And not only work, but you have to, maybe you can push some big money into those, and they have to contribute but then draft picks contribute. And so the Carolina Panthers are going to have to find a way to do both. I'm at the point where I just think that overall, when it comes to the draft, it sounds boring, but best player available with an account of your needs, like you need an impact player, right? Is the more impact players you can get in the draft that make a difference sooner than later helps you.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think that I like the approach. It's similar to what I feel like we should have done in the draft in which we got Bryce Young. I think we should absolutely let the board come to us, and we do everything that Dave Gettleman was talking about, which is you use free agency and then allow yourself to go into the draft and be able to let the board come to you. And then that way, no matter what, I mean, you might have a guy you really want, don't get me wrong, but now are you going to pick a quarterback in the first round? No,
right,
obviously.
Right. You can't do that. You can't say like, oh, best player available, and you just signed somebody to a long deal. And quarterback is the best example how that mantra has to be adjusted. It's best player available matched with need.
Yeah, matched with need. And I think, I guess maybe a better question would be, what are the positions we are absolutely not drafting?
Right.
And I think there's only one other position that I would say confidently we aren't going to be drafting in the top in that position, and that's going to be cornerback.
Yeah. We go back to the Hope Dealer's call where he put us on. He put like 7 different great talking points into one call. And he said he was concerned with the Ike Ekwonu injury. We highlighted this a lot in last week's show. And that is that not only is this devastating injury for this young man who was about to get a big payday, and whether or not you think that he should be a top 5 paid offensive tackle, is that this is the way the market works. The guys, when they sign if you want them and you need them and it's time to sign, they're going to set new records and all of this. But Ekwonu has progressed well enough to where the Carolina Panthers, who invested a significant amount of money in their offensive line in free agency 2 years ago, needed to continue to keep that wall strong. And Ekwonu had progressed enough that it made sense that the money would be worth it rather than trying to find new avenues. This devastating injury that comes in the it was the postseason, right? Was it like first couple of snaps of the? Yeah,
it was just, I think, that first series in that Rams game. Yeah,
it really has thrown a monkey wrench in. And at first, I want to, again, my heart goes out to Ekwonu, who's like about to get life-changing money, and now it's going to a part where he's going to have to. This injury is so significant, and the timeline who could put him in not playing in 2026. You're talking about. It might be a miracle if he plays in 2026 in some ways. Maybe it's possible, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. Like the timeline 6 to 12 months. It's tough. It's going to be a tough period. But then that puts him on the cycle when he had it. He's not going to have time. Now he's going to come back. The Panthers have to pay him the 5th-year option, so he's going to get some money, right? And that's guaranteed. But he's going to have to kind of earn, like start all over in a sense, is go back to what he was as a rookie to show that the injury isn't lingering and all of this. So it's a really, just a tough story for him, but really a tough scenario for the Carolina Panthers because the two, they got to do something, CK. They can't, it's hard for me. There's the 3 options that they can do, and that is try to make it work. Like we have made mistakes in the past, like Byron Bell to left tackle, or trying to get this guy to work, smashing a square peg through a round hole on a roster because you can't afford to do something, and your plan is just such a monkey wrench in the plan. The Carolina Panthers could sign a short-term swing tackle, a guy that they hope that could start a year or 2, or at least start and play well enough to maybe see when Ike comes back, if he can get back to where he was. I think Ninjaman is a guy that you would say look, he played okay. He played good. He played well enough at times.
He played well enough to where it's you might be comfortable going after a guy in free agency. That's not a high dollar position to just kind of fill in while we wait
free
and see.
agent, okay? Ninja.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying is like you can bring him back. He's not going to be overly expensive. Like I can't imagine there's a scenario where
2-year deal.
And so I think you could still potentially try to bring him back. I mean, if there's any I'm extremely disappointed if there's actually legs to the fact that Cade Mays isn't coming back. Like,
I know. I saw that story. I didn't even want to hear it.
Yeah, that actually concerns me quite a bit if that is in fact true. Which, again,
too many spots to fill.
It's just all of a sudden this becomes another scenario where what are we doing at offensive line? And that really doesn't sit well with me. I really don't want to be in that situation. We've been there far too often with players like Cam Newton, where we feel like, it's just like, all we need is the wall and these guys can perform well. And I just don't want to be having that conversation again next year.
And my favorite, and I know because I'm best player, I don't know how the board's going to fall. Everything's going to be different. But at this point, we do kind of have to latch on to what I think is, or what we think could best help the team. And we can't know best player because that doesn't happen until they start playing, in a sense.
Yeah.
As CK, I'm kind of in the midst of last week's show. I decided that I'm kind of interested in the idea of the Carolina Panthers drafting a offensive lineman in the first round of this year.
Yeah.
With the idea that maybe Icky can come back in the future, and that's good. We can find a way that he makes his team, and find a way that maybe we can replace Taylor Moton as he phases and ages out in the next couple of years. And then Aquano, sometimes Cody always said he could be a better guard. I say, like, get ahead of this. Try to get ahead of this. Some of the names right now projected top 20 offensive tackles. Francis Mwaga, Miami. He's considered to be a favorite at the OT1 spot. He won't be there likely. People think he's top 10 lock. He's 6'6", 315 pounds. Spencer Fano, Utah. People have him ranked as a top 20 overall prospect. Fano is noted for his elite mobility, change of direction skill. He's played left and right tackle, and his versatility makes him a strong candidate for picking in the teens. Caden Proctor, Alabama. I don't know how this guy could be considered a tackle. He's 6'7", 360 pounds.
Oh, gosh. That sounds like guard material right there.
He's the dancing bear of athleticism for his size. They describe him. Scouts note that while his best reps are dominant, more consistency is needed to cement top 10 position. That's too big. Some people rising, and you heard this in our call from Anthony Monroe Freeling from Georgia, 6'7", considered about a top around 25. You could be looking at Caleb Alomu, Utah. Prototypical size, 6'5", 302 pounds. Praised for his lateral quickness, smooth footwork. And then he mentioned there's a Max Eacher. Oh, good Lord, I don't know how to say that. He's Arizona State, high upside JUCO product. But he mentioned Isaiah World. He's 6'8".
Oh,
Holy
man. I just
shit.
These
I don't even know what the hell. How is that
mutants.
so big? It's so freaking big.
Oh, gosh.
Too big. All right, let's go to the next call. Only 2 more calls to go, and a little bit more in the show
What's
to
up,
go.
y'all? It's Lucas from Far City. Y'all were asking what hurts the most, Sam Darnold winning in Seattle or Drake May winning the AFC for New England. I would probably say Sam Darnold because he was literally a Carolina Panther. But, man, Drake May talking about his Carolina Panther fandom actually going to Super Bowl 50, his favorite player being Cam Newton, and seeing that picture, him in Bank of America Stadium, man. What could have been, man. I am proud of Drake Maye, me being from North Carolina, and I think he is the first person from North Carolina to play quarterback in the Super Bowl. I'm super proud of that. That's awesome. Go Drake. But I like both of these guys. I wish what could have been, I would have loved to see them be successful in Carolina. And who knows, maybe down the line, Drake Maye might end up in Carolina Blue for the Panthers, but who knows? Keep pounding, go Panthers.
Thank you for your call. Best quarterback right now poll was up for a little while. CK Sam Darnold wins at 50%. Drake Maye. So we got the veteran ceiling 50% of the poll won there. Drake Maye, sophomore extension 33%. Bryce Young with a real offensive line got 17% of the votes. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast. One more call to go. Let me see what we got next as you guys. We'll talk about this. Is more former Panthers potentially pulling down big awards. Let's see what we got here. Last call of the night for now.
Gentlemen, it's simple. Sam Darnold is a winner in Seattle because he's surrounded by good players and good coaching. Panthers had none of that when he was here. So, and I'm happy for Sam Darnold because he seems like he's a class guy. He wasn't better. He went out with class and grace. So I'm happy for Sam Darnold. Question for you is, what do you think about Bill Belichick being snubbed for the Hall of Fame? Apparently, some people led by former Indianapolis Colts GM Bill Polian on the voting committee said they wanted to punish Bill Belichick because for cheating and also because of the personality, kind of a crusty jackass personality. But should he be punished and make him wait for one more year for the Hall of Fame? Do you agree with it or not? Should he be in there on the first ballot? Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
So is he officially out?
Let's see. Bill Belichick snub. Yep.
I don't think the problem that I have is I don't know that you could argue that he should be out based on vague evidence of potential cheating or what have you. I think that the like if we're gonna start like with this gatekeeping because of we don't like the Patriots, like the dude did something historic that had never been done before by any head coach, the most winning head coach in the history of the league. Like we can argue
did he get it? Did he get it, or was he a couple of games away from it?
I can't remember.
Right,
I feel like I remember him getting, or at least in postseason, he's the most.
Here's the story on ESPN. All right. Bill Belichick, the 8-time Super Bowl winning coach, is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. In voting earlier this month, Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame during his first year of eligibility. Four sources with firsthand knowledge of the outcome told Belichick received a call from Hall of Fame representative Friday afternoon with the news that he wouldn't be inducted. Several sources who spoke with the coach of the weekend described Belichick as puzzled and disappointed by his inability to secure support from at least 80% of the Hall of Fame committee members. 6 Super Bowls isn't enough, Belichick asked an associate, referring to his championship when he won as a head coach with the New England Patriots. He won 2 more as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants. To another associate, what does a guy have to do? Another source familiar with Belichick's thinking said, politics kept him out. He doesn't believe this is a reflection of his accomplishment. See if I see anything about Polian in here. This year, Belichick was a finalist with Robert Kraft, who was his co-architect. It's unknown whether if Kraft has gotten it. I think this is, I'm going to say this is a travesty.
I agree.
I'm going to go ahead and say.
I don't like him, by the way.
I actually do because he's such a dick.
Like it's and you've always been that way. You've been a big fan of the trolls, right?
Like,
Anybody who goes
asshole.
against the grain, is all right in Tony Dunn's book. In my mind, I look at this from the perspective of the dude did something that's never been done in the NFL, right? And he did it. People can argue that he did it with the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady for 3 of those Super Bowls.
And who
right?
cares? Who cares if you had Dan Marino or like whatever? I mean, it's still so. Look, that Dan Marino was the greatest quarterback in so many people's minds, and he didn't ever get a damn Super Bowl. Winning the Super Bowl alone is an accomplishment. 2 is an accomplishment. 3, 4, 5, 6 is insane.
3 is name another like player out there that would
other than Tom Brady.
That or a coach or somebody. Name one that's been a first ballot Hall of Fame that hasn't been a first ballot Hall of Fame. But that's won 4 Super Bowls, right? Like
I know we got to listen to Troy Aikman on the radio or on TV all the time because he played one of the greatest teams of all time. Like I mean, his team is supporting cast.
This is absolute. This at my mind, in my mind, after hearing this, my confidence in the Hall of Fame has been shot forever. This shouldn't be a politics game. This should be a 100% about whether or not he deserves to be in it or not. It should not be a matter of whether people liked him, whether they thought he did things the way that they should have been done. Here's the deal. Somebody is not going to be able to cheat and get 6 Super Bowls and you can't even you can say that there are things that he did that were shady. Absolutely. I think we all hate
you ain't trying.
Right. But at the same time, you cannot tell me the dude cheated his way to 6 Super Bowls as a head coach.
No. I mean, they're just. I think the reason he's not getting in is for some reason people just don't like him. Right. I mean, that's the only.
He's not willing to. He's not. Well, what I get the feeling is he's not willing to bend the knee. You know what I mean? To somebody else who's out there who's making the decisions, or he's not willing to go out there and
he probably talked shit to somebody at some point in his career that has a vote and they refuse to change it. But I hate this. It's like what I don't like is it kind of reminds me of baseball a little bit, where the writers and they're like, we got to make them wait to show how cool our votes are. It makes them more important. I would say if anything kept Bill Belichick out of the NFL Hall of Fame is the fact that his 20-year-old girlfriend, he was at a cheerleading competition with his 20-year-old. I was like, that was when Bill and I were cool, when he was edgy and tough and now he just like got Alzheimer's and likes young boobs. I mean, I was like, good Lord. I don't know how this works. I saw Ron Rivera interviewing for the Cardinals job. And when are we going to hear about who the hell the Raiders are hiring?
That's I don't know, man. And I'm so hoping, it sounds so bad. I am so hoping that it is FRO. I really do.
I know. It's a kind of a cool win-win. Think about this: is the Panthers get 2 compensatory picks. Could we offer them a 3rd round compensatory pick for if they take them? So you get Evero and a 3rd round pick. We then get an additional 3rd round pick still.
It's something like that.
More Panthers adjacent news. Christian McCaffrey nominated for MVP finalist, offensive player of the year, and comeback player of the year. Probably gets comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I could see that. I think he would, I think what is Bijan Robinson also in there for the offensive player of the year?
Yeah, I think
I think Bijan's going to get that.
I think it's going to be Stafford for both of those.
No, they won't give. They usually, if offensive player of the year and MVP, if it's an offensive player, they're going to give it to a different player for offensive player of the year. So I think I think that
you could give it to Jonathan Taylor. Could be one player to give it to. I know that. I guess they slowed down. They just weren't good at the end. Who else could have? Puka could get. I don't know who the finalists are, but Christian McCaffrey. Don't draft him next year in your fantasy football league. He's an every other year fantasy football player. CK, look, my bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso. Are we against Tyreek coming here? A lot of money. It's gonna eat the cap.
I think the dude's done. Like me personally, I think he's done as a player in the league right now. Yeah, I mean it's
too big.
No, it's not just that. I think he's coming off of a pretty gruesome injury, and he wasn't. He wasn't the same Tyreek that he was in. Even his first couple. He's a good player. I'm not going to sit there and argue against that by any stretch, but I think that it's pretty clear that that he was on the decline.
Okay, I'm not against it. I just don't think we're going to be able to afford it. And we go back to. Who was it called? Somebody said this earlier. I think it was whoever. The idea that last week, as I'm trying to prep for these shows and managing and juggling life, work, all of that. I was kind of stunned that the Panthers only have $11 million in cap space. I always feel like this is going to be the year we got a lot of cap money. I thought this was the year we're going to have a lot of cap money. And somehow we're going to figure this out. I think it's got to do with fifth-year options. It's got to do. I don't know what it's got to do with CK. We're gonna dive into that in the future as we get past the Super Bowl. But I mean, and those numbers will drastically change. There have been years we had 6, all of a sudden it becomes 30. But we don't have $80 million right now to spend. And there's so much on this team that I think right now, I think with McMillan, if you can get Coker back again, that's going to take some. I don't know if spending premium money on or important money on a aging, coming off an injury wide receiver. I think if we are going to invest that free agent money, it's got to be for pass rusher, linebacker, offensive lineman. I think it would be too much of an allocation just on name, right? So he's coming at a premium just because of his name. Looking ahead, CK, we're at the time we're going to start making our off-season plan for this show. And you're listening to the longest running Panthers podcast, C3 Panthers podcast. We're not football experts, but we're expert football fans. And the show is naturally going to keep up with the latest news and opinions regarding the team. And that is dictated so much by the calendar. Here is a list of key dates that we can look forward to this past weekend, or right now, I guess we should say. The East-West Shrine Bowl is going on, or I think it was, what is today? It's around this time. It says it's listed as the 27th, which is today. January 31st, Senior Bowl. That's where we're going to see some highlights, and you're going to see some guys that kind of come out of nowhere, right? These up-and-comers. You always see somebody makes a big play against a player they thought that was untouchable or something to that effect. February 3rd, you got the Pro Bowl game. February 5th, you got the NFL honors, so you can watch flag football this coming weekend. Super Bowl on February 8th, but this is where things will start to speed up a little. February 17th, franchise transition player designation window opens up. So as we come back in a week, next week, we'll start talking about this next week. The following week, is there anybody the Carolina Panthers need to franchise tag? And then we'll look around other teams. Anybody come straight off come off the top of your head right there?
The what was it? The franchise? I mean, you gotta you have to make some pretty big choices with regard. I don't know what qualifies a franchise tag.
I think they got to be a pending free agent.
Pending free agent. I know about that much, but is there any specific? Because Mike Jackson's on a 2-year deal, so we wouldn't have to do that, right?
He's going to sit out. Go ahead and get ready for that, folks. We're going to do a whole show on Mike Jackson. Don't listen to our podcast, but you should probably sit out if I was your agent. Maybe you should hire me as an assistant agent. Tell you to sit out and get some money because you're massively. Damn, Tommy Tremble making more money than you.
Yeah, I think if it came down to that, and the Panthers obviously don't have the money to pay him and J.C. Horn, the type of money that we can't have two of the highest paid corners in the league on this team and expect to be a well-built team, if I'm being honest with you.
No, but you could. I mean, I don't know if I would be a sit-out guy that says I need a giant deal, but I might be a sit-out guy that says, look, let's stick with this 2-year structure, but we got to rethink
Yeah.
what the hell
Let's
I'm getting
reward. I
paid.
mean, I did something that was worthy of being rewarded, and I think
At least
anybody,
like a $5 million like something.
yeah, I think you could see something like that. I could also see him being trade bait, and we turned what a 7th round draft pick that we traded him for into a potential for, like, even if we got like a 2-second, a second and a third for him or something like that. I think you would be able to. I think I'd trust Dan Morgan to be able to do something nice with him for that. But I'd rather him be here if we can keep him. If I'm just being honest with you, but I would say franchise tag.
I can't think of anybody that's pending that you're gonna.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
player.
Again, we didn't have anybody on this team that made me feel like, man, we got to have him back. The only one would be, I think Kev got, the one person I was thinking about, and that's Cade Mays. But I really don't know if you could even consider that.
You want to make him a top 5?
Right. Did Damian Lewis sign a 3-year or 4-year deal with us?
I don't feel like any of those guys are up. We'll get deep into that in the future. I'm trying I don't know if there's nobody screaming to me right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I agree.
Tag them because we can't afford to pay them, but we need to keep them. I don't know if we're in a position that we're like in a. We are win now, improve now, but not sell out now scenario. February 23rd, March 2nd, NFL Scouting Combine. March 3rd, deadline to designate franchise. Oh, I already said that. March 3rd, the franchise tag. It's up there. Oh, window opens on 17th. Deadline March 3rd. Legal tampering. So on March 9th, we'll get free agency news around the league. March 11th, the league year begins. Free agency officially starts, even though it started on March 9th. Annual league meeting.
I'm sorry. Somebody just brought this up. And hold on. Did Shedeur Sanders really get into the Pro Bowl?
I have no idea. I haven't heard that. Is it
I'm looking here. Yeah, today they said that Shedeur Sanders has officially been named to the 2026 Pro Bowl games. What in the world are we talking about here?
This is ESPN writes this. Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders being added to Pro Bowl games roster. Sanders will replace Drake May, who's New England Patriots advanced. Thank you, God. I'm beyond excited. Extremely grateful. Love this. Sanders, 144th pick in the 2025 draft. Final 7 games of the season completed 56.6% of his passes, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Herbert Allen. Sanders was not selected as one of the 4 alternate selections at quarterback when the rosters were first announced. Then why is he in it?
I don't know, dude. This is beyond wild.
Interesting there.
That's crazy to me.
So then we'll get later and we get April. We'll start getting into OTAs and some different things like that. I wanted to put this up. We got a schedule. I'm working on our schedule. Fans, I need your help right now. If you notice, this is that the doldrums of the season have already set in. Viewers are down right now, but the faithful are here. If you're listening on Spotify or wherever you listen to your iTunes, wherever you get the audio podcast, I'm talking to you guys as everybody live here, people on X, wherever you're watching. What I want to do is now kind of give you a call challenge. We're going to make it the February town hall calls. We're going to do a little bit. This is next week. I'd like for you guys, we've got 1 week now till Tuesday's show. And obviously can call in on Tuesday as well. But I want you to share your Super Bowl memory lane. Call in with your best, worst Super Bowl story. Make it creative too. Look, it's like, I know that people are I'm going to talk about Matt Elam jumping up and down, hugging him in the second half. The feeling and despair when that kick went out of bounds in 2004, 2003. But I think some other things that could be cool is like, where were you What was going on in your life? In 2015, we had an ice storm. We just went through. We're supposed to have Snowmageddon, ice apocalypse this past week. It did not happen here in Greenville. I don't know what happened where you're at, but in 2015, we had tickets to the NFC Championship. We had an ice storm 2 days before, and it was like to the point where it was like, man, I don't know if we're actually physically gonna make the drive. We said, fuck it. We said, screw it. We're gonna do it because things were getting a little bit better. It was freezing cold in the morning. By the end of the night, it was nice and warm. Things were melting. It was great. Attended one of the best games of my life in the NFC Championship. So you guys call us over the next week and leave your Super Bowl memory lane. Be creative. What was going on in your life? Maybe it made you a fan. Maybe something terrible happened. Maybe you remember a Super Bowl that wasn't involved with the Panthers that really sticks in your craw. The following week, we're going to do the Heart of C3. I'd like for listeners, to share what the C3 Panthers podcast and the community means to you. So we're really going to embrace the fan over the next month. And then as we get to that free agency, I want to know your favorite and most hated free agents in Carolina Panthers history. So I've got this up, you guys. We'll continue to push the February town hall as we go. CK, that's about it. We got one last segment to go. Any final important news or opinions or thoughts that you got before we close this show out and start icing some fools up?
Man, it's right now just hard to be able to talk about the Panthers. There's not much to really go on, and I think what's interesting is all of our Panthers players are at home watching the Super Bowl as well, just like we are, and so we're able to watch this game with very little stress, with no dog in the race. And no matter what, whoever wins is going to have a Carolina connection that we can have a conversation about on next week's show. It'll be interesting. Now, I will tell you, next week, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to do my best to be here for you, Tony.
Okay.
But I'm actually going to be down near you. I'm going down to Myrtle Beach, and I'll be there leaving Tuesday, and probably getting there around the time that we would start the show. So if I do it, I'm going to be probably doing it from my phone. But I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes.
Right. We'll work on trying to secure a guest host too. Just so
let's get Greg. Let's talk to Greg. See if we can get him in.
Get Greg here, talking to some of my bastard family around here. So a lot to do. And look, CK, I want you to be able to enjoy your vacation time or family time or.
It's just a golf trip. It's a golf trip. Yeah. So it'll be
that sounded terrible.
Even better than the family time. Exactly.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We're gonna need locking arms right now and continue not only to keep this podcast going, but to grow this podcast. Right now it's time to run the longest running segment on the longest running podcast. And CK, I got a bunch. I went nuts on Twitter.
Oh,
and,
gosh.
I got a bunch of them, but they're going to be fast, heavy hitters. Hold on. I want to set this up. Football team, soccer team went 9 games without scoring a single goal. So it's fans. All brought arrows and just continued to point to the goal as they moved over. I got that tickled me. I like that one. Oh gosh, let me get back to my bookmarks. There's so many here. This one got me going right here.
Oh, have you not seen this? This is so funny.
This indie wrestler who was known as Jesus or Jesus, and he wrestles opponents without touching them. I thought I thought that was funny too. I got a kick out of that. This goes back. I don't remember this one, CK. So ice up to getting this one. I don't remember this guy, Mickey Daniel. Yeah. Mikey Daniel. he got this letter from the I mean, this is late post, so this is a 5 years old news. He got fined by the Carolina Panthers and head coach Matt Rule. On June 14, 2021, your weight was recorded at 235 pounds. After discussion with our Playlist Wellness staff, has been determined that your maximum playing weight for the 2021 season will be 235 pounds. They miswrote it. They meant to say minimum playing weight, 235 pounds. This guy got fined $730 for each pass. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, this letter doesn't even make sense. Look at this. It says, after discussion, determine your maximum playing weight for 2021 season will be 235 pounds. Accordingly, you're 1 pound below your prescribed maximum playing weight. So that means he's in good standing, I would think. You should understand your maximum playing weight has been set in consultation. You must be assigned your weight by September 31. You are subjected to a maximum fine of $730 per pound, which you exceed.
Which you exceed 235.
Yeah.
So
they
this
can't
is like
even get their fines right, dude.
Well, I'm confused because this is indicating that your max will be
written backwards.
No. This is telling them that he's not being fined yet, but it's saying if you were to go above 235, you will be fined.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Either way, it seems crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of a wild thing.
So I got this guy drinking a beer through his nose. Just I can't watch it too long. Was weird. Ice that up. CK, the world is out of control. I like this. Pickleball really opened the gateway to hell.
Oh no, have you not seen this? This is so cool. I want to play this.
Soccer golf?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Something that we can all do.
To play this.
Look at
That's
this.
crazy.
Look at this. This girl lining up this putt for like 20 minutes. Just kick it already. Oh my goodness.
See, that's kind of ridiculous, that part.
Yeah,
like it's the long kicks to try to get it in that I really am a big fan of.
This one we're not gonna watch it all, but this guy gets tased at like high school basketball game. That's crazy. And then Stephen A. Smith saying that you got to stick with brothers. We got to support the brothers and black men. And he was talking about the New England Patriots defensive coordinator, and that guy was replaced in week 2, and a white guy is the actual.
Be careful.
But like he didn't know the rate. He made this big deal. He didn't know who he did not know who the defensive coordinator was for the Patriots. So Steve A. Smith was taking a lot of heat for this. I saw this. Some people, Christian McCaffrey and some of the San Francisco players taking a lot of heat for going on a white boy vacation. Ice up that, and those are all my ice ups. That's what I got. Those are just things on the internet that interested me this over the last couple of days. You got ice up for us, CK?
No, we'll keep it light tonight. We'll keep it light.
All right. My name's Tony Dunn. That's CK. You can't see him. He's got golden pipes and even beautiful face. Beautiful.
I don't know what happened to my camera. It stopped working apparently.
Actually, I didn't put this one up there. I saw this is a girl, weather woman, Oklahoma weather girl asked for measurements on Facebook, and then she asked for measurements on Facebook, and then in her broadcast she clarified, I guess I need to say snow measurements. Stop sending here. You want to hear it?
Yeah,
it's all right. It's silly. It's like you can't hear it very well. It's very light. Let's see. This is funny. It's like it's just silly. This is like but I like how this is always good. She took it a good spirit. I won't say took it in good spirit.
How much we've seen so far. Now, some of this is radar estimates, and then just your
reports that you've been sending in. Keep those coming. I made the mistake on Facebook. I asked for your measurements. I meant your snow measurements. Thank you for everybody sending in
She
your.
said, I made the mistake of asking for your measurements on Facebook. I meant your snow measurements. You jerk. You perv. What pervs sending all that. All right, that's
Tony,
the
why were
C3
you
Panthers
dog?
podcast. Don't forget, guys, the February Town Hall schedule. Hit us up with your calls on Super Bowl memory lane. Good, bad, ugly, Panthers, or anything else when it comes to the Super Bowl. Be creative. Heart of C3 on February 17th, February 24th. Favorite or most hated free agent. My name's Tony Dunn. This is C3 Panthers podcast. CK, you can't see him, but at least give him the golden pipes and send the show off for the evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you have joined in for the longest running Panthers podcast, the C3 Panthers podcast. You guys, we appreciate you. We want to see you next week. Until then, keep pounding.